Cowboy Nation, what up?
What's going on, y'all?
We back. You know what it is. Before we get into this episode, we got to give a shout out to our listeners and our subscribers. We appreciate the love. Keep watching. Stay in tune.
Definitely do.
I think we got listeners in Missouri, Texas, Jersey. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, listeners all over. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the watching. But let's jump into the topic at hand, which is we have camp coming up. Camp is coming up, and it'll be interesting to see who's there, who won't be there. Let's jump into that real quick and see what's the deal. What's the situation going on?
Which players are you looking forward to right now?
I'm looking forward to seeing Leighton Vander Esch in camp. Looking forward to seeing the new running backs that we drafted. Looking forward to seeing Dak, how he and Kellen Moore kind of work that thing out. Looking forward to seeing DeMarcus Lawrence as usual. I think he'll be great. Jason Witten, definitely looking forward to seeing Jason Witten, how he meshes with this new team, because these are not the same people he, once played with. This is not Des Bryant. This is not Tony Romo. These are new people, and I just want to see how he will work in that kind of spectrum. So it'll be interesting to see these people. There's obviously conversations that Zeke won't be there, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Word. I'm definitely looking forward to the rookies. But before we do that, we gotta cross our fingers. No injuries. Hopefully nobody important get hurt. That way we could start off the season right. I'm definitely looking forward to the rookies. Definitely looking forward to seeing the defense, the rest of the line. And I don't think Tyrone Crawford is going to get in trouble, so I think he'll be out there. Definitely DeMarcus Lawrence. Robert Quinn, since he's new. Who else? Jeff Heath, because his job's on the line. So I'm watching him. I'm definitely watching him. And Taco Charlton, too. I'm going to definitely be watching him during training camp.
He's got something to prove this season. He's in that weird kind of limbo space where he can either stay or go.
True.
But I'd like to see him kind of prove himself, like we talked about when we talked about the defense as well as the offense. There's a lot of people who are fighting for their jobs currently.
Yeah. And it's definitely it's going to be a big battle on the wide receiver side.
Yeah, there's a lot of good talent there that'll definitely be showcased, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and as far as the receivers go, like the only three that like we know for sure are going to be on the team is Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and Randall Cobb.
It'll be interesting to watch because everybody wants obviously a spot. Everybody wants to be showcased and headlined, and at camp is truly a perfect time to make a name for yourself and show that you're not just a face and you're not just able to wear a jersey. You're able to actually go out and produce.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been hearing from defensive players that Kellen Moore's new scheme is working, and they're not really sure of how the offense is running because Kellen Moore is being very creative. So if that's true, then hey, it's on and popping.
Yeah, definitely. I think we touched on that when we talked about Kellen Moore last time.
Yeah.
Was that he is giving this offense a chance to not be predictable. He's giving us an opportunity to change things up and be creative and do something different and go out there with newness and freshness. Since our defense is having trouble, how other defenses will be against our offense now that we have someone like Kellen Moore who's coming in and really shaking the table. It'll be fun to watch in camp, but it'll also be even more fun to watch during the preseason and actual season.
We could definitely get into number 21, who seems to find himself in the headlines for
every week.
All the wrong reasons. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
don't get me
like.
wrong, let me start off by saying this. I don't badmouth Zeke. I come from a
Hmm.
place of honesty. I like Zeke as a player. I think
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal running back. I feel that he can take our team places,
Hmm.
but he is putting us in a world of hurt because allegedly, shout out to our followers who put this in our DMs. Allegedly, he is thinking about, instead of going to training camp, going to take a trip internationally back to Mexico where he spent his 6 week suspension.
Mm.
So I'm confused. I'm a little befuddled and bewildered and not understanding where this is going. I'm confused. I understand. I get it. I get that he wants the money. I get that he feels like he is owed the money. I don't negate those facts. I
Hmm.
do, however, have a problem with the route in which it's coming.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't like what I think is gonna happen as far as distraction. Like I feel like now this is gonna take away from our season, and it's like really gonna piss me off because this could go three different ways. He could hold out and not show up at all, or he could hold out and then start to see that Tony Pollard or Mike Weber is looking good, and then try to force himself back into the roster, and then we screw up by trying to put him back in to a rhythm, or he could he could just not show up at all, and then it screws up everything, and then Dak goes back to playing ass, and then we pretty much go back to that whole reputation of if Zeke's not on the field, we look like shit. So I
Right.
don't like this whole distraction thing. Like if you remember last year when Le'Veon Bell pulled this with Pittsburgh, every time Pittsburgh was mentioned, that was mentioned, and I kind of feel like that was a problem with their year and
I
why they
agree.
didn't make the playoffs. So
I agree.
it definitely sounds like Zeke is about to be a big migraine.
I can't name the last time a player has been a distraction and it panned out for a team.
True.
I don't think that that is something because when it comes to team sports, just the media alone has the ability to rattle whatever happens in that locker room because understand a lot of these interviews happen in the locker room.
True.
A lot of these people are asking some real uncomfortable ass questions
Hmm.
within small quarters, and if any of you have been to AT&T Stadium and done the tour and been to that locker room, it's big but it ain't that damn big. So you can easily hear the questions from across the way. If someone is asking a question that makes everyone uncomfortable, then yeah, it's a problem. And it's not like his presence wouldn't be missed on and off the field. So now you're putting your brothers, that you quote call them, in a fucked up position because now they have to choose between, you know, standing strong with you or playing football and keeping focused. And it's hard to do one or the other because listen, we know distractions as Cowboys fans.
Hmm.
Des Bryant has been a distraction, and I love Des Bryant, but Des
Hmm.
Bryant was a distraction
Hmm.
on the sidelines, on the field, off the field, at home, at the grocery store, in the car wash. He was a distraction on all facets, and it really fucked us up because the coaching staff can't coach properly because we're too busy trying to get him not to jump off the rafters.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, and I thought Dak and Zeke were like brothers. I mean, you're definitely putting Dak in a situation where every time we have a game or every time a camera has to be in his face, you will be mentioned, Zeke. So if we're winning, they're going to try to put Zeke into it like, oh, well, how is this offense working without Zeke? And then
Right,
Dak has to somehow politically correctly answer that.
right.
And then in the same token, if we're losing horribly and we look bad without Zeke, they're going to ask Dak the same thing. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
they're gonna attribute it to Zeke.
yeah, exactly. So like, I thought you guys were cool, and evidently Zeke's not thinking about that. He's thinking about his money, which he should. He's an athlete,
Right.
but you got to look at the bigger picture right now. And I don't know. I just smell distraction coming. That's
I
just
do too.
me.
And I think that with Zeke, I think like I said, for me, I
Hmm.
am not a fan of a team pulling a holdout. I mean, a player pulling a holdout.
Okay.
I don't really like that. I think if you know that your team is dependent upon you,
Hmm.
I can't hold out at my job.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? I have to, regardless of the politics, regardless of the nonsense and the shenanigans, I have to show up. And he signed a contract. I get it. If you want money, everybody wants money. Money
Mhm.
makes the world go round. We get it. But guess what? You can't ask money of someone who doesn't have it. If the team don't have it to give, they don't have it to give.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, not unless Jerry Jones got a pasture with trees growing coins on it, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, it confuses me.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and when it comes to Zeke, how quickly do we forget? I mean, all this time the Cowboys have had his back. I mean, through all his off the field issues. I mean,
And I think,
from
and I think that'll be a conversation that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones will bring up in that meeting. We
true.
have had your back. There have been
Mm,
times where you have been in legal shit, and we have literally
mhm.
paid your fines, paid your way. I
Yeah,
feel like that's more than enough. More than
yeah,
enough. But
yeah.
unfortunately, you can't ask a player to see something that way when they see their, their coworkers, so to speak, like Todd Gurley getting paid a certain amount of money. He's
True.
going to expect that same kind of caliber or more because he has had that rushing title for 2 years in a row. But guess what? Rushing titles don't convert to Super Bowls.
No, it don't.
Rushing titles just convert to rushing titles, and guess what? They don't give out participation trophies in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. I mean, in football, they don't give out participation trophies. There's one trophy that they give out at the end of that year, and it is called a Lombardi Trophy. You don't get participation points.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I've been asking a lot of other Cowboy fans, and they all pretty much say the same thing. Is Zeke the franchise player of this team?
No,
Hmm. So if you had to name the franchise player, who's that?
your franchise player is probably Demarcus Lawrence. Either
Hmm.
Demarcus Lawrence or Dak Prescott. That's your
Hmm.
that's your franchise. When you think of the Cowboys, I mean, let me backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke is a fundamental key part
Mm-hmm.
in what makes the Cowboys the Cowboys.
Okay.
However, Zeke can't pass to himself.
Yeah.
Zeke can't throw to himself. Don't I will never take away his talent. I'm giving him his props where props are due. He's a great running back. He's a great football player. But if
Mm.
you're thinking of the Dallas Cowboys and you don't think Dak Prescott or you don't think Jason Witten, or if the first thing that comes to your mind isn't Demarcus Lawrence or Leighton Vander Esch, then there's to me a disconnect.
I feel you. I definitely thought you were going to say Dak Prescott, but you brought up another name that was very important as well, Demarcus Lawrence. Hmm. Yeah. A lot of Cowboy fans think Zeke is the franchise. Like I've been having this conversation pretty much all week, and pretty much what I keep getting is we have to sign Zeke. He's the franchise. We have to sign him. We can't let him go. I'm like, wow. If the running back is the franchise, we in trouble.
My opinion, I'm excited, or I'm anticipating on seeing what Dak can do now that our defense is solid and now
Mm-hmm.
that our offense is making power moves. Like, we're not just to be played around with now. We have weapons.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Zeke incorporated in that, but I I can see both sides of this coin. I like to see Zeke incorporated in our offense and see what he
Mm-hmm.
can do. On the flip side, once he takes his jersey off, he's a human being. He has family, he has friends, he has bills, he has needs, he has the need for money. And I get it. It just, it sucks that this part of football comes up. It just makes it really hard because it's a business and it's
Yeah.
not just fans watching it and appreciating it. This is work for them.
Yeah. I mean, like I always said, nobody's saying Zeke gotta leave.
No,
But if he's gonna stay, he's gotta stay at our price.
right.
Same thing with Byron Jones. Nobody's saying he has to leave, but if he's gonna stay, it's gonna be at our price.
Yeah,
And if neither player agrees with our price, well, you're gonna have to wear a different uniform. 85% of Dallas Cowboy fans, they do not want to see Zeke go, and they think he's the franchise of the
well,
team.
I mean, I don't want to see him go either. I hate I always feel
Mhm.
some type of way when I see a player that I've grown fond of go someplace else. If I saw Zeke in some other jersey other than a Cowboy jersey, yeah, it would bother me. It would not sit right with my spirit.
Nah, I feel you. Word up. Yeah, I mean, but if Zeke does hold out though, the one thing it's gonna do is this season will tell us about Dak Prescott, and it will tell us if Dak Prescott is worth the money that he's asking for. Because, like I said before in previous episodes, we've seen Dak without Zeke Elliott. But then I read a comment on a YouTube page, and this Cowboy fan said something that I didn't think about. We've never seen Dak without Zeke and with a good receiver. So I guess
Hmm.
what this person was implying is in 2017, when we missed Zeke for 6 games, he wasn't fond of the receivers we had out there, including Des Bryant.
Right,
And he's made a great point with that because I didn't like really picture it that way. But yeah,
right,
he's right. We've never seen Dak without Zeke, but still have other great players on the
right.
field. So
It
we'll
would
see.
force it would force Dak to do something different.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Like we're definitely gonna get what we want either way. If
Right.
Zeke if Zeke comes to play, then hey, it's on. But if he doesn't come to play, then this year will tell us if Dak is our franchise quarterback or not.
But I think that you hit the nail on the head prior to when you talked about the running backs in camp.
Hmm.
It would be a real shitty situation for Zeke if he saw the running backs that we drafted
Yeah,
really start, taking over. He
yeah,
saw some
mo-
type of way. And I think
yeah.
that would force his hand to come back because guess what? If we find your replacement, we don't need you anymore. You can take your deal and walk.
I mean, we could possibly already like minus the injury part. We could already possibly be looking at how Dak Prescott just rolled up in there.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Zeke wants to hold out, and then let's just say Mike Weather goes off, and hey, let's just say the first Giant Redskin Dolphin game. Let's say we win all three without Zeke. Now the pressure is going to be: does Dallas insert Zeke back? Like, does Dallas, screw up that chemistry,
Right.
screw up that rhythm?
Right.
Who knows? Yeah, so Zeke, he's kind of screwing himself up. And if he doesn't come to training camp, you know what happens when somebody skips training camp and then they try to just come back, they get hurt.
Yeah, of
So, hey,
course.
so Zeke could put himself in that if he want to. I wouldn't, and I don't care what anybody say. Running drills outside of the football field is
It's not
not
the
the
same.
same. It's not the same. So
Yeah.
you could do all the running and all that you want, but if you're not on the field actually taking hits and doing all of that, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I could see this whole situation playing out mad ways. I mean,
Yeah. Jerry Jones is a businessman, let's be honest. He has
hmm
he been smart in all of his moves? No.
hmm
But I think that he may play his cards a certain way where he can, in his mind, keep both.
yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, man, the money's going to Dak and Cooper, and the reason why them two is because their positions coincide with each other. You can't pay
Right.
the quarterback and not the receiver, or pay the
Right.
receiver and not the
Well,
QB.
let's be
So
clear. He has the organization has to pay Amari Cooper. You've given up too much for him.
yeah. And speaking of that, did you hear? Uh, there is a potential trade talk with the Oakland Raiders for Zeke. There is a potential trade talk, and hey, they can have him, and I'll take my first round pick back.
Um, no, I did not hear that news.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I, I I don't know really how I don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, I would prefer if the chips fall where Zeke could stay a Cowboy. I think that that is what all fans ultimately would like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but unfortunately, this is a business and we don't sit in on those meetings. So I
Yep.
can only talk about what I see in the headlines. I did not know about this whole deal happening or potential deal happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, business wise, it would save the Cowboys a shit ton of money.
Yeah, business wise, and
But if I'm talking from a fan's perspective,
yeah,
that's not what I want to see happen.
no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And I actually made a joke about that when I saw it. When I saw him saying that he was gonna take this trip during camp, I'm like, yeah. And when he comes back, he'll be a Raider. he won't be a Cowboy no more.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
crazy.
possible. Yeah, I mean, especially like I'm gonna say it like this: if the whole Raider thing was a rumor, after him making this comment about taking a trip during camp, might not be a rumor anymore.
But I think all in all, Zeke wants to be a Cowboy. I think
Yeah.
I think that he loves the respect that he gets from the organization. I think he likes the respect that he gets from the fans. I think he loves the love that he gets from the fans, from the city, from all things that come from being a Dallas Cowboy. I don't feel like there was a bone in his body or a piece in his body that does not want to be a Cowboy.
I feel you.
However, I think that that same bone in his body that wants to remain a Cowboy also wants to get paid. And unfortunately, they may not coincide with one another, but fingers crossed. I think that I would hope that things will pan out and I can keep my boy and
Mm-hmm.
still rock his jersey because that's what I want, you know?
Nah, I feel you. Yeah, like I said, if he stays, Mazel tov. But if he gotta go, then hey, it is what it is. It's still Cowboy Nation all
Agreed.
day, every day.
I
Yeah,
just I mean
and
that's just
then
me.
he put himself in this though. You know, with the off the field issues, and now the way he's handling the holdout situation. If he was to be cut, he kind of put all this on himself.
I mean, yeah, he put himself between a rock and a hard place, but he also put the Cowboys, the organization, between a rock and a hard place as well. So everybody has to now fight and shimmy their way out of the situation that everybody's been put in. And
Yeah.
like I said, hopefully the game plan or what the end result would be is that everybody walks away from the contract table happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, sometimes it doesn't go that way, and sometimes it does. So within the next, couple of weeks or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
I get some good notifications that he's been paid, and we're all happy.
Yeah, and whatever happens, I just hope this is all taken care of before the season start. I don't want this dragging into the actual season.
Right.
So if he is going to be let go or traded, I would rather this happen before the season start. And
Yeah.
if we're gonna pay him or work out something the way he does stay for a long time, I hope it happens soon
I
because I don't
agree.
want that shit dragging.
Yeah, if he's gonna get traded, rip it off like a band-aid. Do it now and get it over with. That way we can focus. We can refocus.
Yeah, and then he's hurting himself with the holdout because now Pollard and Weber, they're gonna get all of the snaps now with the first team, and
Right.
then they'll be ready for game one. And
Right.
then for his sake, he better hope that they don't look good because if they look good and we're winning, it's gonna be right back to the Tony Romo thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be right back. You're like, oh well, Dak Prescott's winning. You can't just say no right now. Yeah, and oh, and another person that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing in camp, Michael Gallup. I really want to see
Yeah.
him go to the next level. Um, I was actually watching the Philadelphia game earlier. It was on TV, and he looked really swift in that game.
Yeah. I like Michael Gallup. But I'm ready to see that tandem with Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. I think that'll be interesting because like you and I have said before, if you
Mhm.
double team one, you leave one open. So
Yeah,
you
and
can't
plus,
you can't double team both.
and yeah, and now you have both of them for a whole year, so it's gonna
Right.
be definitely dominant. And then if a defense does come up with some sort of scheme to try to lock both of them down, now you got Randall Cobb in the middle.
Yeah,
So
wide open.
I'm definitely looking forward to this camp. I'm ready.
Definitely am. I'm excited. I'm ready to get this preseason over with and let's get on to the road to number 6. That's all I'm ready for.
But we gonna holler at y'all, Cowboy Nation, my nation, her nation, your nation. We out. Peace.
Bye.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!